And a very good evening, everybody. Baseball fans all over the world had a chance to watch the World Baseball Classic this year, and that included the talented young head coach of those baseball Tetons.
It was probably some of the most entertaining baseball we've gotten to see. I think, watching Team USA lose is always tough. But I think it's good for the game because it just shows that it can be at its purest form, and we don't have to change 1,000 different rules every year in order to have a quality product. I totally get the idea of trying to speed the game up, but I think if the World Baseball Classic went on for another couple weeks, I don't think anybody would be too upset about it.
What about the injury factor if you're an owner of a club? I mean, you don't know if you want your aces out there. I mean, we lost a couple of good ones already.
For sure, and I think that you run the risk of playing baseball in spring training too, just as much as you do in anything else. If you're not competing, what are you doing? I get the idea of getting ready to play. I think the way to combat that, freak things are going to happen no matter what. I think the way that players and clubs can combat that is if they're going to play in the WBC moving forward, I think it's really important for them to maybe ramp up another month earlier. Start a little bit earlier. Make sure you're ready to go, especially from a pitching perspective. I don't think from a position player perspective that the injuries, like that you have a higher chance for injury. I think it's the level of competition in which, like, from a bullpen standpoint, when you're coming into a relief appearance in the WBC, you have 35,000+ people there. It's a playoff type, World Series type atmosphere. The leverage in which you're pitching is not like a spring training game. When you're in a spring training game, it's very lackadaisical. It's almost kind of boring. You're just getting your work in physically. You're not even really mentally all that there. Where in those, like the tax of throwing a 20-pitch bullpen type situation in a WBC outing versus the tax of throwing a 40-pitch, 2 or 3 inning stint in a spring training game, they're drastically different.
And, of course, as all New York Met fans know and all Houston Astro fans know, there were injuries. Mets ace reliever Edwin Diaz broke his leg celebrating. He's done for the year. Jose Altuve hit by a pitch in the hand. He's out at least 2 months. I said on the air my greatest concern was that Twins or Red Sox players would get hurt, but certainly the action was great. And, yes, I thought Mike Trout was going to homer off Shohei, but he did not. His teammates struck him out. The big winner, obviously, the game of baseball. Mason and his club was hoping to get in a little baseball in Iowa this weekend, but those games have been canceled. Women's softball also off this weekend. They were hard at it this morning at the Art, trying to get ready for their conference season, hoping to improve upon last year's showing. Jordan Sullivan, Sydney native and assistant coach at Utah in their first season. Was good to see her on national television. They lost a tough one to LSU, 66-63, but she was aboard for a great season, first regular season title for the Utes, and we can't wait to talk about hoops with her this summer. Alabama is out. San Diego State beat them, shocked them, 71-64. The non-overall seed is out. Another top seed, Miami, they got Houston 89-75 at the half. Creighton with the lead on those smart guys from Princeton at the half. Texas all over Xavier, 42-25. And with that, we take a timeout on First News at 10.